Alright, so this is going to be the video for number 23 and number 24 from your Unit 2 review. Okay, so we're going to tell us in these things here, we're going to give the formula I is equal to V over R, and they tell us kind of what those mean. I is for the amps, V is for the volts, R is for the resistance or ohms. So it tells you an alarm clock draws 0.5 amps. Well, amps are my I, so this means this is my I. And then it tells us that I'm currently connected to 102 volts. Well, volts are RV. Find the resistance. Well, the resistance we said is R. So this is our R. We're looking for R. So I'm going to plug in the information. I is 0.5 is equal to my volts, 120, over, we don't know, R. So if I wanted to solve here, I can't have R in the denominator, so I have to multiply by R to both sides. So I get R times 0.5 is equal to 120. Again, we're solving for R, so I have to get R by itself. So it's being multiplied, I have to divide by 0.5. It's 0.5. So when I do that, I get R is equal to 240 ohms, because that's what it's being measured in here. Okay, number 24, we're talking about the test scores here, okay? And in number 24 here, they're telling you, here are your previous test scores, 79 plus 65 plus 44 plus 80. Okay, and they say if you score a 52 in the next test, will you get a B? Well, in order to know to see if we get a B, we got to add that 52 over, and since it's an average, we have to divide it by how many tests are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's no variable in this one. This one is just plugging it in and seeing what happens. So 79 plus 65 plus 44 plus 80 plus 52 gives us 320. I have to divide that by 5. So when I divide that 5, I get a 64. So, is there any way that I am going to get a B in the class if I scored a 52 on the test? And the answer is no, of course not. And finally, number 25. Okay, so they tell you, here's your inequality. Explain if these values down here are going to work. Well, the only way to figure it out is to plug those values in and see what happens and see if they make a true statement. Okay, so kind of plugging those in, I'm going to do negative 7 parentheses 1 plus 4 times negative 2. And when I do that, I get 49 here. And then it's going to be greater than 27 plus 6 times negative 2. And I get 15. So the question is, if I plug in negative 2, is 49 greater than 15? The answer is yes. This one works. I'm going to try negative 1. Well, I'm basically going to do the same thing, except that these now say negative 1 in there and not negative 2. So negative 7 parentheses 1 plus 4 times negative 1 gives us 21. And then that's supposed to be greater than 27 plus 6 times negative 1. And I get 21. So is 21 greater than 21? And the answer is no. So this one is not going to work. So let's try 1. So if I plug in 1, again, now everything's turning to a plus 1 in these parentheses. So negative 7 parentheses 1 plus 4 times 1. Okay. And when we do that, negative 7 times 1 plus 4 times 1, you get negative 35. And it's supposed to be negative 35. Is that greater than 27 plus 6 times 1? And that's 33. So is negative 35 greater than 1? The answer is no. A negative number can never be larger than a greater number. Try negative 10. So now it's going to be negative 7 parentheses 1 plus 4 times negative 10. And I get 273 there. And that's supposed to be greater than 27 plus 6 times negative 10. And I get negative 33. So is 273 greater than negative 33? Answer is